All right, hello and welcome to your first flip video. Today's lesson is writing equations. Just like we did in chapter 1, I want you to be taking notes along with the video, writing the examples on the left-hand side, and then we're going to go through some together and some on your own. So just pay attention closely, and there will be some points in the video where I'm going to ask you to pause and try the problem on your own. So let's get started. Our previous objective, we evaluated and simplified algebraic expressions. What I want you to write on the top is your objective. We have two objectives today. One is to translate sentences into equations, and the other is to translate equations into sentences. So I'll give you a minute to copy these down, and then we're going to get started. Some new vocab. Underneath your objective is the word formula. A formula is a rule for the relationship between certain quantities. These equations use variables to represent numbers and form general rules. Let's get started. Example number 1. On the left-hand side, we are going to translate sentences into equations. The first example is a number b divided by 3 is equal to 6 less than c. So what I did first is I broke it apart into little segments. I have b divided by 3 is equal to 6 less than c. Next step is to break apart each of these algebraically. So b divided by 3 is equal to is my equal sign, and 6 less than c. Remember that your variable always goes first, so it's represented with c minus 6. So my answer is b divided by 3 equals c minus 6. Now the next example you see here has a checkpoint. This is where I want you to pause the video and try the next one on your own. We'll take a few minutes, try the problem, and we'll come back and see if you got the same answer as I did. So go ahead and pause your video now and translate the next sentence into an equation. All right, hopefully you've paused the video and you have an answer to this question. 15 more than z times 6 is y times 2 minus 11. Again, I broke each segment apart and translated algebraically. I got 15 plus 6z equals 2y minus 11. Hopefully you got the same thing. Let's move on. The next question is our multiple choice question. In each one of these flip videos, there will be a multiple choice question as well as an open-ended question. These are to be copied down in your notes. Write down the correct answer that you will then fill out on the Google form located on my Google site. So go ahead and pause the video and take a minute to figure out which one of these multiple choice, A, B, C, or D, translates a number c multiplied by 6 is equal to 2 more than d. So again, pause the video, answer this question, and tomorrow in class we'll go over the correct answer. The next example is to write a formula, very similar to the first example. Here we go. The perimeter of a square equals 4 times the length of the side. So the first thing that I do is I pick out the words that I need to translate. I have perimeter equals 4 times the length of a side. I picked some variables. I chose P to represent perimeter and S to represent the length of the side. Perimeter equals 4 times the length of the side, meaning multiplication. So my formula is P equals 4S. Now the next example is a checkpoint. So again, I want you to pause the video and translate this sentence into a formula. The area of a circle equals the product of pi and the square of the radius. Again, pause the video and see if you can come up with the same answer as I did. All right, hopefully you've tried this and you have a correct answer. My words, the area of a circle equals the product of pi and the square of the radius. I chose A to be my area and R to be my radius. Some of you already know the formula for the area of a circle. You should have gotten A equals pi R squared. Let's move on. The next example, translate equation into sentences. Again, that should be on the left side of your Cornell notes. And the first example, translate the equation into a verbal sentence. So I have 12 minus 2x equals negative 5. The first part, I just broke it apart. Next step is to translate these numbers into sentences. So I have 12 minus 2 times x equals a negative 5. Go ahead and copy that example down. And again, here's a checkpoint. So you are going to translate this equation into a verbal sentence. Pause the video, try it on your own, and we'll come back to make sure we got the right answer. All right, hopefully you got the same answer as I did. I broke it apart, and my answer is a squared plus 3 times b equals c divided by 6. Now it's a little bit more tricky when we translate the equations into sentences because as we've learned, our addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division have a variety of words that can translate or that we can use. Equals, we don't always necessarily have to use equals. We can use the word is. A squared, we could say added to 3 times b. So there's a variety of answers. You just have to make sure that your sentence matches your equation. Now, this is our open-ended question. What I want you to do is translate this equation into a verbal sentence. Write it down on your paper because you're going to be recording your answer on the Google form located on my Google site. So take a minute to solve this or translate this equation into a sentence. This is actually our last problem for today's lesson. Hopefully you've enjoyed the flipped video. What I want you to do is now log on to my Google site and fill out your name, your hour, and it's going to ask you a few questions. A few questions, your multiple choice answer and your open-ended question. And then you can fill in on the Google form if you had any questions for me to answer. Tomorrow in class, we will be spending time going over these multiple choice and open-ended questions, and we will have time in class to do your homework. See you tomorrow.